Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet Fan here, and as always, I am accompanied by the one, the only, the Mad Titan, Isaac Wolf. What's up, man?
Hello.
Isaac? Okay. That was, I got a little scared there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Were
I
you,
could have I could have
were you a
sworn you
fair
were eating.
Were you a fair Titanic?
It was colossal.
And here I thought you had armored up.
Well, if you get obesity, like
Okay, let's get on with the reviews before we just going in a whole giant mess of puns.
yeah, my jaw was already hurting after I grabbed that Warhammer. So let's go ahead and let's start this. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast, where you get great anime reviews and horrible puns. This is our new
Puns
episode.
is amazing. Don't deny it.
Oh my God. But yes, thank you for coming in and joining us for the Amateur Otaku Podcast. We're really excited to talk anime with you guys again this week. As you guys know, Attack on Titan, the final season, is now going on actively. And here at the Amateur Otaku, we got together and we're going to be reviewing the episode. We're going to be doing reviews on the episodes of the Amateur Otaku finals not the Amateur Otaku. We're going to be doing reviews on the Attack on Titan final season, and we're going to be doing them 2 episodes at a time. So that way, every time we record, we have a nice, substantial conversation. The last time we recorded on Attack on Titan was 2 weeks ago. So we covered the first 2 episodes, which is episode 60 and 61. I am very happy to let you all know that I went ahead and we added to the first comment on the stream is the actual link to that review. So it's live in our YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check it out and hear our thoughts on episodes 60 and 61, which is The Other Side of the Sea and Midnight Train, they're live in our YouTube channel and on our playlist. We also started a new playlist where if you want to go straight to the reviews of Attack on Titan the final season, you can go straight there. These reviews will be a YouTube exclusive, so we're not doing this in podcast format. We're just going to do it on YouTube, and they're going to be live whenever the season ends and concludes. Isaac and I will do an in-depth podcast on the entirety of the season as a whole, and maybe like a full recap of the series, being that this is the final season of Attack on Titan. And yes, Isaac, I'm going to be doing that every time I say the final season, because I don't know, I just feel that it's right.
You are so over dramatic right now.
I know, it's colossal. So, there's a link right there, guys. So go check it out. Leave us comments, reviews, thoughts on that. We will definitely answer back. And if we have recommendations from you guys of things that we should watch to influence our thoughts or more anime out there, let us know. So yeah, this episode is going to be us covering the last 2 episodes of Attack on Titan final season, which is episode 62, The Door of Hope, and episode 63, From One Hand to Another. There's so much going on in this episode. There's a lot to discuss, especially for those that have been fans of Attack on Titan throughout the entirety of its run. For those that are reading the anime, like me and the manga, as me and Isaac are. But there's a lot to discuss, so we're not gonna wait any longer. We're gonna jump right in and talk about this episode. There's tons of spoilers ahead for the entirety of the show and for these episodes. We will hold off and not talk about anything that happens after, because Isaac and I are actually caught up with the manga, so we're a lot further ahead than where the show is. But we will not spoil anything beyond what's already been shown in the episodes. So we're going to be very good with that because we want to save a lot of the surprises and great stuff that's coming for you guys. We want you guys to experience it firsthand whenever it comes out. If you like what we do here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast and do not want to miss any anime reviews or episodes or any reviews on Attack on Titan, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Amateur Otaku. Click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any streams or any episodes. And also find us on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, where we have all our episode archive on there. We're going almost on 2 years, almost 60 episodes of anime goodness. There's tons of stuff for everybody out there. Join the club, join the conversation. And as we talk here, if you guys have any comments, thoughts, or feelings about this show or any anime in general, feel free to send us a comment in the comment section below. Any comments that you send to us that's worthy for us to put it in the show, we will address it. And if it's a question, we'll answer it. If it's a comments, we'll give you our thoughts. Join the conversation. Now, Isaac, let's jump right in with the episode. Let's put the banner up here. Episode 62, The Door of Hope. Isaac, I have a lot to say about this episode. This is a very Reiner-centric episode. How did you feel watching this?
You can say that you went right on board.
I knew I should have worn my armor. No. This is gonna be fantastic. So do I need to cart this for you? No, I'm sorry, that's bad. That's really bad. So Isaac, Door of Hope, the most Reiner-centric episode we've gotten in the series, and what a heavy episode. I want to know, before I jump in and talk for like 50 hours, because sadly that's what I do. Isaac, I want to know what you think. What were your thoughts about this episode?
I think it's a fantastic episode to flesh out the character of Reiner, knowing why he's the way he is.
Yeah,
and you get more of his backstory, ideologically, why he is the way he is. The whole that whole chestnut.
Yeah. I think what I like the most about the episode, it's how it takes a character that for the longest time we see as hard-headed and very simple, cut and dry, you know what I mean, straight man or whatever. And this just added so many layers of complexity to this character. You know what I mean? Like Reiner is the kind of character that I think a lot of people after season 3 hated, because he's the traitor. He's the one that broke the trust of the team. You know what I mean? Him and Berthold, of course. Annie, we already knew what happened to her in season 1, but Reiner and Berthold were like the two big traitors that we wanted to see destroyed. And he's the one that got away, because we all know that at the end of season 3, Armin almost sacrifices himself to help Eren defeat the Colossal Titan at the hands of Berthold. And after they beat Berthold Colossal, I think that's a good way of saying it, Armin inherits the Colossal Titan from Berthold, which is going to be awesome whenever we actually get to see it. Armin Colossal. But they beat him. But Reiner was the one that they couldn't kill, the one they couldn't capture, the one that got away. And he is still an active military powerhouse for Marley. So he's still working with the army. He's still helping them conquer lands. He's still doing his job as a Titan warrior. But we never imagined up to this point how complex his story, the trauma that he's gone through throughout his entire life has been, and to the point that it drives him to want to commit suicide, which is like, this is like deep stuff. You know what I mean? And I like that they treat this story with so much care and seriousness. You know what I mean? Like this feels like a veteran war drama, you know, like someone that's been battered and is dealing with this PTSD throughout his entire life in different ways, and how he's in this breaking point and he's hanging by a thread. And I'm like, and it kind of makes you turn the corner around to a degree on Reiner, because it's not just that he was an idiot soldier following orders. He was this kid that wanted a family. He was this kid that wanted to make his mother proud. He was this kid that, in order to survive and save his teammates, he needed to become something and someone else, which is, there's a lot going on here. And I like how the episode actually takes its time with the subject matter instead of just throwing everything in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, it's one of those episodes that's, I think is one of the, to me, is the best episode this season thus far. To me, this has been my favorite episode thus far, and it was paced very, very well. And I don't know, man. I like how for the first time we actually get the glimpse of what it looks like on the other side of the wall whenever Colossal Titan appeared in the wall of Shiganshima. And I think that's a perspective that a lot of people wanted to see that never got to. And we finally got it. Because now, like, Isayama is like cutting all loose threads and bringing the story full circle from all sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like it because very few shows do that in a successful way. And they have done it. They've done it. Because now, since they closed that loop already now they can just move forward with the story without going back. You know what I mean? Without having to backtrack anything. Because if you think about it, every single character in the show, we now have a very clear, rounded out picture of. The only character we don't have a lot of backstory on that's important is Zeke. But technically, Zeke is the new character of the season if we're talking honestly, you know. But now we have like a very clear, we have a clear picture. Like every storyline for every individual major character has now been closed off. The chapter's finished, and now we can all move on forward from here. Even though, yes, there's been a time skip, but now I feel that like this is the episode that kind of closes all the other episodes before. Like from here on out, now we have a new story. Now we have something fresh, and nothing from the past is holding us back. No more questions are holding us back. And I can't wait for everything that's coming. I'm very excited, Isaac.
Yeah, I'm too, because this anime is insanely good based on an insanely good manga.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: when you of that episode with Reiner, the fact that, because let's talk about his story. So he is half he's half Marleyan because his father's Marleyan, but of course, we finally see through the eyes of Reiner what it is to be a kid from Eldia. You know, like he is literally discriminated, hated throughout the entirety of Marley. He's only respected to a degree because he's a Titan warrior. He's rejected by his father. Like he thought that his dream was that him and his father could be together if he was a Marley warrior. You know, and even though he becomes the Armored Titan, he's still hated by his father, by his biological father. His father tells him, "Get away! I don't want to be here, because if you're here, they're gonna find me out. They're gonna kill me. Because family doesn't matter. You're still a filthy devil." Like it's so horrible. Like I could never imagine being in that position. And how every time he kind of like has this dream of becoming better and wanting to be better for his mother and his family, everything comes back to destroy him. because the world that he lives is such a corrupted and horrible world that he really can't do anything better. And it even makes you think that Reiner have a choice in everything he did. Do you know what I mean? Like, did he really have a choice? He felt like he didn't have a choice, which makes him an even more complex character. I'm really excited to see where they take the character from here. I mean, I already know, but I really want to see how they do it, because I'm going to say this, Isaac, also. I love the anime feels. I feel like they've perfected the pacing on season 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the pacing is excellent. Nothing feels dragged out. Nothing feels too short. Nothing feels like it's way too fast. Like, a lot of the mistakes with the pacing and some of the storytelling bits that they had, especially in the beginning of season 3, they've actually fixed a lot of that.
Speaking of, do we know how many episodes this season is going to have?
I do not know, but I wouldn't be surprised if this particular season will have more than 24 episodes, because based on what we've seen, and I think I know where you're going with this, it feels that they've covered a lot of ground and have taken a lot of time to tell a lot of story, but there's so much more coming. You know? Yeah, so like there's a lot that we haven't seen yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be more episodes, or if they're going to condense a lot of the action set pieces. Because that being said, in the manga, Isaac, a lot of the action takes place within a period of 4 chapters. They could probably condense a set piece of 4 chapters of story in one episode. You know what I mean?
True.
So that might be, because we still haven't seen a lot of the major action set pieces, which are coming soon, but we haven't seen them yet. So that's probably why they've kind of, maybe, hopefully, they've made the wise decision to take their time on storytelling episodes like this one, and then just go all out bombastic on action whenever those episodes come in. Hopefully they found that balance, and that's why they're taking their time here. Because not just on this episode, but even in this episode that comes after, ever since the season started, they've taken their time in exploring the world of Marley and how the culture and the military works, and how the Eldians fit into the military, which to me feels really great, because again, it's the one place that we've never seen before. Like, we see glimpses of it. We see glimpses of it in the season finale of season 3, when Eren is looking into all the memories of Grisha and all that stuff. But we really don't see more than that. So,
which is why I'm just a bit scared on how they will handle it all, since it's a bit much in the left in the manga.
No, you're right. You're right. But the good thing is that so far they haven't let us down. So hopefully they won't down the line. So let's be hopeful, Isaac. The episode's name is the Door of Hope, Isaac. It's the Door of Hope. Do not bring nothing but... Okay, I'm sorry. That's bad. That was a colossal... Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. I promise. But yes. So this was a great episode. Isaac, I think it's safe to say you and I loved it. Great indications to Reiner's character, Reiner's desperation to try and do right and pay for his guilt. And I think that was the biggest thing. My biggest takeaway was that Reiner feels overwhelming guilt and shame for everything that he has done throughout his life. Like, he's not like this ruthless, bloodlust villain. You know what I mean? Like, this is a broken man. This is a man that regrets everything that he's done up to this point, and he wants to rectify it. And even when at that moment where he thought that rectifying would have meant him taking his own life, he understands when he hears Falco talking that the only way he can rectify all this is not by taking his life, but by taking care of the kids that sadly have to go through the same thing that he went through. Like trying to be there for them as long as he can. Which is also it's one of those moments that I don't want to say it, but it's like, damn, Reiner's not that bad. He's just super troubled. You know what I mean? He's just like, he's more than meets the eye. So that's why I love this episode. So that's our take on Reiner. Isaac, do you have anything else on this episode?
No.
Okay. So how about we jump into episode 63, which is from one hand to another. Okay, Isaac. I know I always go on tangents, so I have to have you go first. We saw this episode. We have been introduced to the Tiber family. Isaac, talk to me. You saw this episode. What were your thoughts? Anything that stood out for you?
The fact that they are going dwelling more deeper into the politics, which is something that I find important, considering one of the bigger things that they want to do here, like I said earlier, is to give us perspective of the other side instead of just hurdur, everyone bad.
Yep.
Okay, that might be the wrong way to put it, but you get what I'm saying.
No, of course. And I think one of the most interesting episodes, except for those that just prefer to see the action, one of the more interesting episodes of Attack on Titan's previous seasons were the moments where they were in a courtroom and they were trying to figure out the legal issues, the political issues, the way they disseminate information, all the ideas of controlling the multitude, the crowd. You know what I mean? Like trying to control the populace. That all those conversations that you have once the coup d'etat from the scouts occurs in season 3, and they have a story as queen, and you see all the political conversations about how do we keep the populace happy and all that stuff, and who's the rightful ruler and all those things. Now we see the same things on the other side, and the introduction of the Tiber family is very interesting because apparently what we're led to believe is that the Tiber family they're Eldians, but they are the shadowy rulers of Marley. They are the ones that are literally the ones financing and ruling Marley from the background. So you have this country that hates Eldians, that uses them as fodder of war, that uses them as warriors, as disposable warriors. But they're also ruled by Eldians. And the whole thing is that apparently the Tiber family was the one that betrayed the Eldians or something like that. And they partnered with the Marleyan hero, and that's how, that happened. But isn't it fascinating how, just like Paratus had the shadowy figures of the Reese family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Marley also has the shadowy figures of the Tiber family. But in this case, we're seeing them front and center. Now we're seeing it from the side of those in government instead of them just being the shadowy figure. And apparently they're the owners of the Warhammer Titan, which the name was finally dropped even more profoundly as before. So the Warhammer Titan is in Marley. So that means that, Isaac, we're going to be seeing the Warhammer Titan very soon. So I'm really excited for seeing that Titan manifest now, which is going to be, I think, a great time for everybody. But
so you wore the hammer.
What was that?
So you wore your hammer.
Okay, that's carry on. But yes, and now there's a lot of things that happen also that don't have a lot to do with because the whole thing with Gabi and Falco, like Falco trying to be better and kind of like getting better. I actually loved all those moments with the kids, especially on this episode, because more than ever, it felt like a slice of life anime that was like comedy based. You know what I mean? Like a lot of lightheartedness, a lot of like, and it's all for us to feel like these are just kids. You know what I mean? Like no matter how horrible the world is, these are just kids being kids, trying to be the best they can with everything that's going on. Like they, even though it's a horrible situation, they live in captivity. Kids will always find a way. Most of the times, if they're given an opportunity to be better, to shine, to be happy, kids are gonna take that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and also, I think it's safe to say that all this is happening also to create a parallel because you and I both know, and this is not a spoiler because it kind of happens a lot, especially in the Reiner episode, when you see Reiner as a little kid looking at the sky, they flash back to show Eren as a kid, where they're trying to draw parallels between Eren and Reiner. And then you also have these kids, and you got to draw parallels between them and Reiner and Leon and Reiner, Berthold, and and I forgot her name. Was it Alice? It wasn't Alice. Is it Alice? Annie. But like they're drawing
Because
parallels.
who the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, right. But they were running like they're all parallels with those different characters. So I like that we got a lot of those funny moments. I personally laughed like crazy when like Falco says, "I'm doing it for you," and Gabby doesn't get it, but everybody else gets it. Like typical anime romance thing. Like
Yeah.
nobody gets it. Everybody gets it except the girl that's kind of someone has a crush on her. But also for me, the funniest line was when they actually are at the end of the episode in the festival, and they go like, "Gabby, you just wake up. What do you mean? It's a festival!" And Falco just shoves a ice cream in her face, and she goes, "This is a festival." I don't know. To me, those are very charming comedy anime moments, and which makes you think like I like how Attack on Titan has these little pockets where you can see a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Because it feels like a real world where anything, you're gonna have these moments of levity, you're gonna have serious moments. I like how this is such a complete show, and these are moments
Yeah.
like that you think about that. Anything in particular, Isaac, that stood out to you on this show this episode that you enjoyed?
No, not that you haven't mentioned, because, like you said, it's all about the small details, and there's a lot of small details here, so to speak.
Is there a small detail that stood out to you?
No, not particular, because I think the interaction, the reactions, and all that just fit within every context.
Okay. Yeah. I think but there's a lot of little things. Now let's talk about all the little things that we see. So there's this lady that apparently she's from the Eastern country that saves the new kid with glasses. Apparently they put their attention to her for a particular reason. So I think that's someone we need to keep our eye on. They hinted that the Warhammer was now in Marley. We just don't know. Of course, we're led to believe that Willie. What a name! What a name for like a leader. What's his name? Willie. No. Someone's doing, yeah, someone is doing like a Will Smith meme somewhere where Big Willie. No, sorry, that's bad. But yes,
Yeah.
we're led to. Thank you. We're led to believe that he is the one that has the armor titan, the Warhammer Titan. But there's so many people in that room, we don't know who it might be. So the Warhammer Titan's there. We get a glimpse of the idea of the hero Hellos, which hopefully is something that we'll see more in the future. We get a glimpse of Theo Magath's inner thinking. Like, he understands that he is the one in charge of other Titan warriors, but he knows who the real ruler of Marley is. And it's an Eldian, which is something super cool. Now let's talk about Falco's friend. Can we talk about Falco's friend? So Falco has a friend, right? There's this guy that's hurt, and we've seen glimpses of him since episode 60. But then in episode 62, at the end of the episode 62, we get a glimpse. Falco and him have a conversation, and they talk about him. He talks to Falco about wanting Falco to survive and live a long life. And he says something about that those that walk a life, most people that end up in hell or march towards hell is because they're being pushed by something else or by someone else. But those that push themselves will see a different kind of hell. And it makes me think, because of course he's talking about Reiner, because Reiner pushed himself into all the situations that he got in because he had an ideal or a dream, even though all that ended up destroying him, which talks about the personal hell and trauma that he's talking about, which is a fantastic metaphor and description. But who is this person? Who is this person that's talking about this? And why is him so important? So he says that his name is Kruger. But when the episode 62 ends, we see his face for the first time in detail, and we see those eyes. Isaac, who is Kruger?
Brain freeze now.
What do you mean? Why are you freezing your brain?
Do continue, because I couldn't.
I prepared an amazing segue for you. Okay, that's fine. So, okay. Kruger, which is the person talking to Falco, is looking. We see his face stare straight at the screen at the final scene of episode 62, and we see his eyes. And everybody that knows Attack on Titan knows exactly. It's okay.
Now
Yes, he sees those eyes, but we as a viewer are meant to recognize those eyes. And we definitely recognize them. So I'm going to try it again, Isaac. Who is Kruger?
Someone called Eren.
Oh my God. So yes, Eren Yeager is in Marley, which is crazy because, yes, we do see the clips of the trailers and we see the Attack Titan destroying a city, but we don't know what it is. But now we know that Eren Yeager is in Marley. He is disguising himself as a man named Kruger, and he's in contact with this kid named Falco. And in episode 63, his bond with Falco gets stronger, and Falco starts sending letters for him somewhere, apparently to his family. And we all know that now that we know that Kruger is Eren, Eren's family is dead, unless you count Armin, Mikasa, and the scouts. So what that means is that he is communicating with someone that we probably all know for some reason. So Eren has infiltrated Marley, and this just sets the table for anything crazy to happen. So I'm really excited how they're downplaying Eren being there. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing it like very down. Like, we all know it's Eren, but they're doing it in a way that's like very mellow and very calm. They're not making a big deal of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that is a very classic way of doing it, as we prepare for what's coming ahead. Now, I was actually researching something because I didn't remember. But do you know where the name Kruger comes from?
The first thing I'm thinking of is Freddy Krueger, but that can't be it.
No, so Kruger, Aaron Kruger, is the name of the person that gave Grisha Jaeger the Attack Titan.
Oh.
His name is Aaron Kruger. So Grisha named Aaron after him. And now Aaron takes on his last name as an alias to hide himself in Marley. Which is awesome. And it's all connecting the dots, and it lets you see how Aaron has learned from his memories and the memories with Kruger and all that stuff. But there's a moment in this show that I don't know if you caught it. But there's this guy that comes to talk to Aaron, right? And he talks about...
Yeah, that.
Did you
Yeah,
catch,
I know who you're talking about.
Did you catch who that character is?
No, I actually didn't.
And why he screams in agony when he remembers the death of his daughter. You didn't catch it?
No, because I didn't.
That was Aaron's grandfather. That's Aaron's grandfather.
So stupid right now.
No, you're good. You're good. But that's Aaron's grandfather. And the girl that he's talking about is Grisha's sister that was mauled by dogs by the Marleyan cops in season 3. And the reason no, you're fine. You're fine. You haven't reviewed this story in a while. It's cool. But the reason he's went mad was because he lost his son and he lost his daughter, and he never did anything about it. That's why as soon as Aaron asked him about his family, he kind of goes berserk. And you get glimpses of him looking down on his daughter's body. And like you get like little glimpses like that, and he goes crazy. But the biggest thing that kind of talks is how he says, "Hi, my name is Jaeger. My name is Jaeger." And then when you look at the flashback, you kind of see him younger, and you remember that. And he also says that he was pushing his son to become a doctor. And we all know that Grisha becomes a doctor. So we know that that was Aaron's grandfather. And I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron remembers him because of the Attack Titan's power to recall memories. He probably knows him from Grisha's memories, which is probably why he pretty much told him, "And what about your family? Like, why don't you go to your family?" And then he goes berserk, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that was like a kind of like a nice nod to connect the dots and stuff like that I liked. Now, one of the best things that this episode has is that it's the first, I think it's the first ever Attack on Titan episode with a post-credit scene. I was not expecting that.
Neither did I.
I was not expecting that at all. Apart from the fact that they end the episode in the midst of the credits. Like the credits start, but the episode's still going. And then they go to credits. And then they go to a post-credits scene. Which to me, especially because of the type of post-credits scene that it is, literally tells me that was a very, 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 very conscious decision. Now, Isaac, what happens in the post-credit scene?
I didn't know that there was one because I didn't watch the
What? What?
Yes.
Oh my. Okay. So here's what happens, Isaac. So you know the whole thing that they're setting up the theater for the big production for Willie Tiber, right?
Yeah.
So the festival's going on and whatever. So you know that the credits start when Reiner is kind of like dragging Gabby because she ate too much or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So after the credits, almost at the middle of the credits, a post-credit scene starts. And literally, Reiner and the kids arrive at the theater production. And Zeke is there with Falco's brother, and they're all there like talking, and everybody's like taking their seats or whatever. And then Falco comes running and goes, "Mr. Braun, can you come with me?" And he goes like, "What do you mean?" And then Zeke looks at his watch and says, "It's okay. We still have time before it starts." So Falco goes with Reiner, and they're walking away. And Falco takes Reiner to a basement. And he opens the door. And who is in that basement? Reiner looks down, sees a man missing a leg, and says, "Eren." End of scene. That's the post-credit scene. Which is, you know what? Which doesn't surprise me that you missed it, because Attack on Titan has never used a post-credit scene before.
Yeah.
It's never happened. So I wouldn't be surprised that you're the only one that missed it. I will be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if other people did. But guys, at the end of episode 63, there is a post-credit scene on the Attack on Titan episode. You have to see it, because the best thing about it is that it sets the tone for what's going to happen on the next episode. On the next episode, we're getting a confrontation between Eren and Reiner, with Falco in the middle, which is crazy. And the biggest thing is that when you look at the preview that comes after, the greatest thing happens because all that you hear is Reiner confronts Eren. No, it says Eren confronts Reiner. And Eren tells Reiner, "You and I are the same." So I'm excited for the next week's episode. And literally next week's episode is episode 64, Declaration of War. So all I know...
Maybe we should mention one thing I talked with you about.
Yeah. So we'll do that when we close up. So Isaac, now that I told you the post-credit scene,
I actually went to Wakamin and just check it fast. Just for the sake of it.
What do you think?
I think it's a really good scene to set things up. I'm just, why an after credit scene? People don't think. Most people, myself included, doesn't usually. Maybe watch the opening and ending once just for the curiosity, and that's done.
Yep.
So which is why I question. I think it's a good scene to end and build up for what's to come. But I think it was I dare say that it was a bad idea to use it as an after credits, personally.
Well, here's the one thing that I agree with you, but at the same time, I accept it and I enjoyed it, and here's why. You know what makes me think the reasoning was behind them setting the post-credit scene that way?
No.
What did you ask me when we were talking about the Reiner episode? Do we know how many episodes we're going to have? So to me, what they're doing is they're trying to save time. They're trying to use as much of the screen time that they have available. And to think about it, that post-credit scene and the way they ended the credits saved them 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Point.
2 minutes that they now can use and for the next episode and make that episode blow up. So they saved themselves setup time. Now, if we go back to episode 64 and we have to see the scene again, then they're stupid. They didn't save each other time. But I think they did it to save themselves time and to give themselves more time. Because you and I both know, and this is not a spoiler, the fact that Reiner and Eren are looking at each other, I don't know you, but the last 3 times they saw each other, Titans fought. That's all I know. So
I didn't know that.
last times they looked at each other, Titans changed punches, bro. That's all I know. So, and with the name of the episode, Declaration of War, this is gonna be a bombastic episode. But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna be happening now. It makes me think that they want it, as they dedicated all those 4 episodes to this in-depth look and situate us in what Marley is and the rules of the culture of Marley, to now let us know that the next episode is going to be those 2 worlds meeting for the first time in that way. I'm really excited to see that on screen. I mean, the animation so far has been superb. I am going to say, I kind of noticed that they're still using digital art for some of the Titans. Like I see it like with the Card Titan, and some few details with the armored and female, but not as much. So I like how they're hybridizing it, but it looks a lot better than season 3, because Colossal in season 3.
It sure do.
It looks better because season 3 Colossal and season 3 Gigantic Titan, they looked horrible. They didn't look good at all. But they're looking
horrible, but they certainly looked way worse than they did in the previous seasons.
Well, to me, it looks horrible because if I'm watching an anime, I don't want to feel that for a minute I'm suddenly playing a PS2 game.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? I'd rather see like it to be glossed over with CG. Like, for example, the way the Armor Titan looks, he looks great and has very little CG touch-ups here and there. But to do full CG on a story like this, nah, not good. But, you know, that's just me. But yeah, episode 64 is coming. Declaration of War. Those are my thoughts on episode 63. Do you have anything else to add on this episode, Isaac?
No. Nothing more than I still feel stupid that I missed the fucking after credit scene and that brain fart at the middle of it.
It's okay. It's okay. Now you know for next couple episodes, you know, we might be getting post-credit scenes, so now we know to look for them. So hopefully, if they keep using them, to me, that actually makes me think that's the smartest thing to do, especially if they're doing it for very little reveals here and there, to keep the story forward and to be able to save themselves time. So I'm really excited for where it's to come. Really excited for you guys for joining us and listening to this podcast episode on Attack on Titan. If there's anything else that you guys want us to cover on the show, let us know. Isaac, I don't know if you know this, but Funimation, I don't know if it's in Wakanim, but they put out an anime movie for Attack on Titan called Chronicle.
It's on Wakanim.
I watched it yesterday. It's 2 hours long, but it's a nice and concise recollection of seasons 1 through 3. It's actually a pretty good OVA. So I would check it out. It's actually pretty cool.
I can agree. That's a pretty. If you need to catch up and all that, yes, I would actually. Before you watch this season, I would recommend watching it if time is not your friend, so to speak.
Yep, and it's a great because you get a good glimpse of all the big reveals and big important information that is spread out throughout the episode. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna be back in 2 weeks to capture episode 64 and 65. We look forward to talking to you guys soon about more Attack on Titan stuff. If you're reading the manga and want to hear our thoughts from the manga, you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter. Isaac, where can they find you, brother?
You can find me at Emblemaniac on Twitter.
So if you find us on Twitter, you can send us a DM. If you want to talk Attack on Titan manga, Isak and I are caught up. We will love to talk Attack on Titan manga with you. We might be doing an Attack on Titan manga episode very soon. So stay tuned. Isak, as you guys know, lives in Sweden. So it looks like there's a possibility that he's going to be delayed one episode. So we're going to try and do some VPN magic so that him and I can stay caught up with the episodes so we don't fall behind on the reviews. But there's a possibility that I'm probably going to wait till Isak gets caught up to us. And we might be out for 2 weeks on the Attack on Titan reviews. So we'll keep you posted on this because even though we in the US get our next episode this weekend, Isak will not get his next Attack on Titan episode till January 10th. So he's going to be a week behind in Sweden as we are in the US. So we'll keep you posted. If we're able to find a way for Isak to watch Attack on Titan at the same time that I do, we'll keep it up and cover the episodes every 2 weeks. If not, we're simply going to be 1 week behind. So you guys are either going to get a brand new episode of the Attack on Titan review series. You're either going to get it on January, either on January 12th or January 19th. That's where you're going to get your next episode. But don't worry, whether we cover 2 or 3 episodes, we're going to cover at least 2 episodes of the Attack on Titan show so that we can have a meaningful conversation with every review that we do. And the time that you guys spend with us is well spent. So thank you guys for joining us. Follow us on Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod. If you have any anime recommendations or thoughts of Attack on Titan, let us know at Amateur Otaku Pod in the comment section or send us an email at amateurotakupodrtf@gmail.com. This is Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet Fan and Emblemaniac signing out. We'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
Hej då!